And the Congress party is all set to raise adjournment notice tomorrow on ED sealing the National Herald house, we mean the fourth floor, which pertains to the property which is allegedly under scanner, and gheraiing of the Congress office. They want to raise all these issues on the floor of the house. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh with us on the broadcast. Pallavi, over to you. What is expected tomorrow?
Well, I think there's going to be yet another day of hangama in Parliament, and they're going to use today's incidents to actually rake up an issue against the government that, look, they're misusing the ED and the CBI once again. So very too quickly, before I come back to you, Anusha, one, of course, what they're going to ask in adjournment notice is, why is it that there was a police bandobast outside the residence of Sonia Gandhi, who is a Z security protectee, and the Congress headquarters? Why is it that the area was completely cordoned off? And two, why was there a need to even seal one particular floor or office of a Herald house when every leader from the Congress party is actually cooperating with the investigations? Let's also not forget, today has been an important and significant development. All opposition political parties actually have come on together to actually write a letter to the Supreme Court, and also to make the point that there should be a review of that recent verdict which we saw on the PMLA. The insinuation is that this is a verdict which goes and could be misused by the government, which means it will be easier for the government to misuse the ED and the CBI against their political opponents, to use the words of the opposition party.
Thank you, Pallavi, for putting that in perspective. And review petitions rarely meet with success in the Supreme Court. The fact that this judgment was given after much debate. So legally speaking, the routes are very, very limited. Joining us on the broadcast is Mr. Shehzad Poonawala. He is the BJP spokesperson. We also have Mr. Charan Singh Sapra from the Congress party. Mr. Rashid Kidwai, who is an author, is also joining us on the broadcast. We also have Kailash Adhikari, who is a political analyst and managing director at Governance Now. And Swapnil Kothari, who is a senior lawyer, is also joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sapra, let's open the debate with you. A simple question. This is an ongoing investigation. The law is taking its course. Why the hangama? Mr. Sapra, am I audible to you?
Voice is not coming.
Mr. Sapra, we'll try and just fix that connection for you. Meanwhile, let me go to our other guests as well who are with us on the broadcast. Shehzad, I'm coming to you and taking your view. There was a press conference that was done by the Congress party today evening, and they've called this an open intimidation and threat by the BJP misusing the agencies. Respond to that.
You know, this has become a part and parcel of the four pillars of corruption, the Aam Aadmi Party, Uddhav Sena, Congress and the TMC. First of all, this is the court order, the trial court order, in which it has been said that Young Indian was used as a special purpose vehicle to usurp 2,000 crores. It was upheld by the High Court and the Supreme Court. Is the court doing vindictive politics? The income tax assessment order was challenged by them in High Court, Supreme Court. They got no relief in it. Instead of answering questions and instead of being answerable to the ED, they are silent before ED and they are violent on the streets. And we've seen what kind of display of violence they've done on the streets, including holding the cops by the collar. So is that cooperating with the law, confronting with the law? Thirdly, is there immunity to do corruption? What kind of new standard is this, that the courts come and rule on you prima facie? Instead of cooperating with them, you say you play the victimhood card. This is the same Congress, by the way. Look at the hypocrisy. When action was taken against Satyendra Jain, here they declared that please immediately Satyendra Jain should be sacked. So if the ED acts on Satyendra Jain, it is chamatkar, and on them it is gunekar. So this is their double standards. We are asking certain simple questions. First of all, if there is so much of vindictiveness in this entire matter, how come in so many years, despite the likes of Chidambaram and Mr. Singhvi, you got no relief from any court of law? You're still out on bail. Are these observations by court or findings by court, not observations, or also vindictive? So, you know, this is just to play the victimhood card and to get an immunity from corruption. They must answer the questions and they should cooperate with the law, not confront the law. But unfortunately, they are AICC, All India Confrontation Committee.
Mr. Charan Singh Sapra, I hope you were able to hear some points that Shehzad has raised. But the primary argument that the BJP is making is that these are agencies. These are agencies doing their job. They are investigating a matter. A matter is sub judice. Why are you making a hue and cry about it? Is the Congress party above law? That's the question BJP is asking you.
See, nobody is above law in this country. Basically, Congress party is questioning the selective targeting of opposition leaders by the ED department. You know, the ED has been used for political fixing also. And the way we have seen in the last 8 years, Shehzad just now, he mentioned some of the opposition leaders. I just want to ask the same, that in last 8 years, ED did not raid any BJP leader, number one. Number two, what about why ED is not following up the cases of Hemanta Biswa, Suvendu Roy or Narayan Rane? or maybe Yedurappa and so many other leaders. This Hemanta Bisma was called a panichor when he was in Congress party. But when he went there in BJP, he became the chief minister. Narayan Rane was a bhrishtachari when he was in Congress. But when he went to BJP, he became a sadachari. So, and Suvendu, if you remember, he was said, Bhag Suvendu Bhag. And now what is happening?
Mr. Sapra,
So
Mr.
ED is
Sapra.
doing selective targeting. That's the question which Congress party is raising.
Yeah, Shehzad, I'll just come to you. Let me just add one point. Mr. Sapra, while the whataboutery of what you're saying might be a prima facie political defense, but the fact that when ED conduct raids and there are crores of rupees which are found at the houses of the opposition leaders, or when a matter goes on like in a National Herald case for so long and there is no relief granted by the court, clearly your argument is not that there is no merit to the case. Clearly there is merit to the case. Are you conceding that?
See, let's first detach two cases. You are trying to mention the Partha case and the National Herald case. Both the cases cannot be compared.
You mentioned a couple of cases, so I just wanted to respond to you in the same way.
Please.
Yes.
See, when I am talking now, I can't listen to your supplementary question because the voice goes away.
Okay,
that is the fact now.
Please go ahead.
So please hear me out.
Yeah.
Then I can hear your question. Please.
Yes.
So the issue is that both the cases are different. Now, as far as National Herald case is concerned, this case is going on since 10 years, a decade-old case. This case was closed by ED itself in 2015, and then again it was reopened. Still, we have no problem. ED can investigate. They have called Rahul Gandhi ji. They have asked him. They have grilled him for 50 hours, more than 50 hours. They have called Srimati Sonia Gandhi for 3 days. They have grilled her also. They have today put a seal on Young India office. So the way ED is acting, it looks as if it is working like a puppet. And puppet works like what the puppeteer wants.
I want Shehzad also to come into the discussion. Shehzad, please respond.
He said not a single case where ED is acted because they're selective. Here are two cases in front of you. ED acted on a Surat BJP leader, 2.7 crores was seized, and he was taken action against. IT raided apparently somebody close to Mr. Yedurappa's son. Now, this demolishes his argument that ED is acting selectively. But I'm saying, for the sake of
Sapra, let him finish. Mr. Sapra, I give you the opportunity. Please let him finish.
Let's assume that the ED is selective, malicious, and vindictive. In the last 8 years, you couldn't go to a court of law and get one evidence of calling it a caged parrot like it was called. The CBI was called under your tenure. In fact, you went to the Supreme Court to challenge various provisions and the functioning of the ED under PMLA, and the Supreme Court threw that case also out, where Mr. Karti Chidambaram and others went. So I am asking you, let's put our money where the mouth is. Forget allegations you make, allegations I make, you made against Khadse, now you've taken Khadse. Forget all of that. When a court of law comes up with a prima facie order, for Satyendra Jain you have one stand, and for Sonia Gandhi you have another stand. And please tell me in the last 8 years, one instance where Mr. Chidambaram and Singhvi, much better lawyers than any of us in this panel, have gone to a court of law and said, this is the BJP acting maliciously using the ED. You've not been able to get that.